Hello, my name is Brian Day. I'm an exercise physiologist and the owner of Fitness by Day Personal Training. By far, my favorite piece of home exercise equipment to recommend to my clients is the functional trainer. The reason is it allows you to replicate any exercise that you can do at the gym or with dumbbells, only using this small piece of equipment. Regardless of what machine your gym has, there's a way to do that exact same exercise here on this piece. The way it's able to do that is we start by having a large weight stack. Make sure that no matter how strong you are, you have plenty of weight to work with. The next element of a functional trainer is this allows you to make adjustments of this handle grip here by moving this lever up and down in 2 to 4 inch increments. This allows you to apply force at any angle desired, so you can make sure whatever the exercise is that you're looking to do, you can do it right at home. And best of all, functional trainers take up a very small footprint in your home, so regardless of what kind of space you're working with, it can be a great choice. In this video, I'd like to do is pair some demonstrations of functional training exercises with gym exercises, so I can show you exactly what I mean. First exercise I'd like to demonstrate for you is the cable chest press. This exercise works the same muscle group that you'd work at the gym if you were using a bench press, a dumbbell press, or even a machine chest press. Set the cable at mid-chest level on both sides and select an appropriate weight, the same weight on both sides. Grasp the handles, bring them in tight, and step out forward into a lunge position. Press out fully, leaving a slight bend in the elbow at the end of the motion, and draw them back so your elbows reach back level. Go through this motion nice and slow, keeping your abdominal muscles tight and your head up. There's one key advantage to performing this exercise on the cable machine, and it's that as you're going through this motion, the whole time, the weight stack is trying to pull you back, but you're forced to engage your abdominal muscles and your other core muscles as well to keep you in place throughout the motion. There's also another way you can perform this exact same exercise that even puts your core under a greater strain for greater results. You can do them one arm at a time. So step forward, that same lunge position, stay squared up with your far wall here, but don't allow the machine to pull you back. Hold yourself nice and steady. As you're doing this, you can feel all the muscles of your core engage as you go through this exercise. Next, I'd like to show you a couple exercises I'm sure you've seen at the gym. The first of which is the cable seated row. You may also see people at the gym doing this exercise on a machine where there's a chest pad and handles in front of you as you perform the rowing motion. I prefer the cable version, and the reason is it requires your core and your back muscles to do a lot more of the support work that would normally be taken on by that chest pad. What you want to do is attach the bar to your cable system, though you can also perform this with the handles in a cross cable fashion. Set the bar so when you're on your seated position here on the bench, the bar is going to come right into our lower rib level. There's a variety of grips to use. I'm going to demonstrate the wide grip. So grabbing about shoulder width, evenly spaced on the bar, slide back in your seat so that the weight stack comes up just a little bit so you don't have to worry about the weight stack hitting as you perform the exercise. Keep your shoulders low, your head up, and really engage those abdominal muscles. Row back, squeezing your shoulder blades back and together as you row, and let the weight come forward so there's just a slight bend in the elbow at the end of the motion. Carefully return the weight stack back to its starting position before moving on. We know the resistance training is great for preventing osteoporosis, but some exercises are better than others. One of the most fundamental exercises for keeping your bone mass is the squat. Let me show you here how you can perform the same exercise you do at the gym using dumbbells or a barbell, only here with your cable system. Begin by adjusting the cables to their lowest possible setting on both sides. Select an appropriate weight, make sure it's the same weight on each side. Grasp the handles, bending at the knees, get down nice and low, bring the handles in tight so they're at shoulder level, stand up fully, leaving a slight bend in the knee at the top of the motion. You want to take the foot position, about shoulder width apart or just slightly wider. Keeping the head and chest up, squat down, driving the hips back. Throughout the motion, it's important to keep your knees from crossing in front of your toes to minimize strain on your knees. The lowest position to be considered is one where your upper thighs are parallel to the ground, though you don't need to go quite that low to get something out of the exercise at all, so only go as low as you're comfortable. When you're done, bend at the knees, squat down low, return the weight stack back to its starting position, and move on to your next exercise. Probably one of the most popular weight training exercises of all time is the biceps curl. Traditionally done with dumbbells, or they even have machines at the gym where you can do it. You can do the exact same exercise here using your cable machine. Start with the handles down to the lowest position on either side. Select an appropriate weight for both sides. Grasp those handles, bending down at the knees, and stand up tall. Keeping the elbows in close to the body, curl the weight up fully and lower the weight back down slowly. Nice and slow, nice and smooth throughout this entire motion. Keeping your shoulders static and not rocking as you perform the exercise. Lower the weight back down slowly, bending at the knees to lower the weight back to its start position. The lat pull down is another fundamental back strengthening exercise that you can perform at home. Use that same bar that you'd use on your seated row, only want you to take the adjustment, raise it all the way up to its top position on both sides. Make sure it's locked in tight. Grasp the bar. Again, this is another one where there's a variety of hand grips. This time I'm going to demonstrate the reverse grip at approximately shoulder width. Sit down, back slightly, row the weight down to collarbone level, and raise up slowly until there's just a slight bend in the elbow. As you're rowing, squeeze your shoulder blades back and together. After that last repetition, carefully load the weight stack back onto its start position and move on to your next exercise. Up until now, most of the exercises I've shown you have been ones where I'm replicating things that you can do at the gym using dumbbells or a machine or a barbell. However, I want to show you something a little bit different because the functional trainer does some exercises better than anything else can. One example of which would be the twist. To perform the cable twist, you can set the handles at really any height depending upon what you're looking to replicate. I'm going to demonstrate here using a mid-chest level or mid-abdominal level twist. One thing I really like about this exercise is it is very sports specific. You can see as I do this motion, there's a close resemblance to a golf swing. It's a close resemblance to a tennis swing, a baseball swing. Any sport you participate in where there's rotation, there's definitely some overlap in terms of the muscles that you're working here. The other thing to keep in mind is that whether you're a skier or a basketball player, even if what you're doing you don't see a lot of twist in it, fact is you're using a lot of those core muscles. So any way you can add variety to your core strengthening program, it's going to help your performance in those sports as well. Grasp the handle after selecting the appropriate weight. Bring the handle right into mid-chest level. And you can see relative to your body, your hand position is going to stay the same throughout this exercise. You stay right in the middle. You're going to turn your whole torso a very short distance. And you're going to do it in a nice, slow, and controlled manner. If you start facing 12 o'clock, you're going to turn to either 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending upon which direction you're turning. Go through the motion nice and slow, and when you're done, return the weight stack back to its start position, and then perform the same exercise, but in the opposite direction. Now, even though the cable system might look unique the first time you see it, if you think back to the last time you were in the gym, you probably saw something much like it. It's those larger cable systems. It would be one weight stack approximately 12 feet apart from the other. This is a similar design in that it brings them in closer together. So it lets you perform some of those exercises I've shown you, like the chest press and the row and the pull down, because of its design. However, it also allows you to perform some of the more traditional cable exercises that you perform on that much larger machine on the same machine that uses a much smaller footprint. First one that comes to mind is the tricep press down. Set the cable attachment to its top position, select an appropriate weight, attach a handle, keep it nice and close to the machine. You want to keep the shoulders low and pulled back while you perform this exercise, and the elbows stay locked in tight against the body. Just the forearms move as you're going through this exercise. Press down fully, and only come about 3/4 of the way up. That way we can be sure to keep the load on the triceps and not so much on your lats and onto your shoulders as your arms start to keep away. So you're keeping those elbows in tight, and the hand position only comes about 3/4 of the way up. There are a ton of abdominal exercises you can perform on a cable system, but one of my favorites is the abdominal crunch using the bench. Start by setting the bench at approximately a 45 to 60 degree angle. Set the handle height just high enough so that when you're performing the crunch, the cable isn't running into the top of your head. Also attach a pair of handles to that cable system. Grasp the handles, sit back into the bench. Throughout the exercise, you want to make sure you're able to keep your low back pressed firmly into the bench and keep your abdominal muscles tight. Outside of that, the form is a lot like a traditional crunch. We're going to perform the exercise in a nice, slow, and controlled manner, and I really want you to focus on just drawing the shoulder blades up and away from the bench, slowly back down, not settling in. So you're not going to let the weight stack hit when you get to the bottom, and you're not going to let your shoulder blades settle too far into the bench. Let your back make contact, and curl right back up, nice and slow. Repeat for your desired number of repetitions. sit all the way back, put this weight stack back to its start position.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this functional trainer demonstration. For the very best in fitness equipment, do check out Xtreme Fitness Equipment. For the very best in personal training, do visit Brian Day at fitnessbyday.com and fitnessbyday.net. Training is both available in person and virtually online. Thank you so much.